Hey guys, Troy here with Cape Ann Conversations again, and we are talking local tourism on Cape Ann, which is obviously a big economy, and we're going to learn more about that today because I've got Nancy with us from north of Boston, and I'm going to throw it out there right now. It's northofboston.org. You're going to want to check this out after this. But Nancy, say hello and tell us how we got here.
Well, Troy, thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to be here on this beautiful day talking about tourism, which is so important to this area year round.
Yeah, we feel it. And it's good. It's great. It's the best part of being on the North Shore. The reason why we live here is also the reason why people want to visit here.
Absolutely, because we all know that a great place to live, a great place to play makes a great place to visit.
Yep.
And Cape Ann has it in spades.
Yep. So how did North of Boston get started? When did it get started?
Well, it was actually started, the North of Boston Convention and Visitors Bureau, or CVB, actually got started, my goodness, in the early 70s as a tourism mechanism for all of Essex County. So we have the pleasure of promoting tourism in all 34 towns in Essex County, presenting them as a premier destination to the world to attract visitors. But Troy, between you and I, let's face it, the 5 communities that make up Cape Ann, maybe have an edge.
Yeah, because we have the downtown. Some of the towns don't have this like walking downtown that Gloucester has, or Beverly has, or Manchester by the Sea have, or Rockport's Bearskin Neck. I mean, unbelievable location. I'm sorry, Rowley, but you're mostly a home community more than anything, right? Am I wrong?
Well, Troy, I
It's
think
a little
that
edgy for
the
Wednesday
important thing
morning.
is to remember that that all of these communities are kind of dreamy for visitors. There is no driving through this neck of the woods and not being seduced by one or more of these fabulous communities because they've got the perfect mix of adorable places to stay. Whether you're value conscious or you want very high-end resort or somewhere in between, they've got these incredible, one-of-a-kind, family-owned and operated places to eat, which you and I know are serving right from the ocean or the farm right to the table kind of
Yeah.
cuisine. Amazing attractions and incredible arts and culture scene. It's good and one-of-a-kind retail. So it's really a perfect mix for visitors and, let's face it, for residents.
Yeah, and so this CVB, this North of Boston, when it was originated, there was no internet. I'm imagining that you guys were like flyers and books and
Very
media.
close. Maps and guides and flyers and a lot of print ads in magazines and newspapers.
But it's
Yes.
always been tourism based. So it's not like it doesn't have your realtors involvement. We're talking restaurants, we're talking beaches, we're talking inns, we're talking what am I forgetting?
No, you're spot on. It's accommodations, it's dining, it's attractions, it's arts and culture, it's retail, it's historic sites.
Museums.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All of
Which we
it.
have like you said in spades. We have all of that right here and more.
Exactly.
And so you produce a book every year now. I'm assuming that book's been around forever, but is that like a main exposure piece for
It is. It is. It's a great get to know the area piece. Now we also work hand in glove with folks like the Cape Ann Chamber and both their their Cape Ann and Rockport division, as well as Discover Gloucester. In fact, in addition to our own north of Boston, all of Essex County guide, which sort of hits spots on the high points or gives suggested itineraries, whether you're a movie fan, you're traveling with kids, just general itineraries. The Mass 250, regional historic sites. But we also work hand in glove with our area partners and support them having guides. And all of us have those guides in print because no matter what people say, print is not dead. People want the guides, they're keepsakes. And we also have digital versions of those.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who are already planning to visit Cape Ann who are going online and going, okay, let's try to make a plan, make an itinerary. And if anybody goes to northofboston.org, it's expansive. I mean, there's literally hundreds of like either not-for-profits like museums and places to go to your for-profit like restaurants, and I mean expansive. If you could plan a whole wedding from your website if you had to or wanted to, but you can also plan a whole, ladies weekend, family vacation, whatever it is. All of the information's right there, readily available. I'm sure the print also has maps. So if you're like, oh, I'm going to go to Gloucester, I'm going to walk from Good Harbor to downtown to get a lobster roll and back. There's all of that too.
Even more.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how these print books, you can go online and you can order them. I'm under the impression. How far do you ship these books?
We'll ship them just about anywhere.
Like Australia?
Absolutely.
Get out of here.
Australia is an emerging market for tourism, and damn straight, I'll ship them anywhere anyone wants them.
That's awesome. So and then you'll put them in shops. So if somebody is coming to stay at what is it, like the Addison Choate Inn, there'll be a stack of them there. So people can pick one up, bring it to their room, and make a game plan.
Exactly. They can get them in advance from us. They can also take a look at the digital version, which will sell them on why they want the print version.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Because this organization's really kind of two-sided. So you have there's two customers, if you will. There's all the tourists who are educating themselves and learning about where to go and what to do to have a good time and make a successful trip. But then there's also the businesses, the members, if you will, of your organization, which is relatively inexpensive to join as a business to be featured and get that exposure. But they're going to be featured in this so that people will come to their restaurant or come stay at their inn or whatever the situation may be. That's the other part of this coin that you cater to. Can you talk a little bit about the value for those members?
I'm so glad that you asked. So yes, we are a not-for-profit membership-based organization, and our revenue stream comes from three places: membership by area businesses, and some advertising in our guide and our website, and other co-op advertising that brings north of Boston into a variety of countries and places beyond our Massachusetts borders, as well as a small piece of the Tourism Trust Fund from the state of Massachusetts. So the value for members really is all about allowing us the reason to join is because we will then take your business and put it in front of all the right people, whether that's domestic or international travelers just here on a leisure vacation. Perhaps you want to really get a piece of that group tour business. When 65 people get off a bus and come to your place for dinner, and they're doing that several days a week, 2 seasons out of the year, that's a lot of business you can count on.
Yeah.
If it's corporate meetings, if it's a wedding or event, or maybe you're interested in having more catering to more of that sports kind of audience, all of that is tourism. And it's our responsibility to attract people from all over the world to our beautiful Essex County. And the partnership we have with the businesses is that once they get here, our member businesses show those people such a good time, they'll forget there's ever any place else in the world but our neck of the woods.
Do you have any concept of how many eyeballs see you both digitally and in print? Like, is it like it's got millions of eyeballs? It's got to be millions.
Yes, millions. In fact, are on our website every year. We also distribute in print about 125,000 guides. And then digitally, we see the most people who go to our website, the millions who go to our website, also take a look at our guide online.
Yeah.
We also have the advantage our offices are actually located in a visitor information center on Route 95. So if you were coming into Massachusetts from New Hampshire, we would actually be the very first visitor center, the Maria Miles Center in Salisbury. And our office is in that visitor center. So we get to have that high touch with about 350,000 people a year who admittedly run in to use the restroom, but also then are perusing our rows of collateral, books like ours and more from all of our member businesses, um, to whether or not they're planning a trip right then and need suggestions, or they get so enamored by what they see that they'll plan to come back.
Yep.
And we go through about 500,000 pieces of collateral through our visitor center every year. So a lot moves out. We do a lot of support for our member businesses in a variety of ways because we're only successful if those visitors actually choose Essex County.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, and that's a full-time job, just updating all of that information every year, I'm sure. Just like continuing to keep that all like clean and clear and ready for everybody to consume, to come here and do that. But it's short money. I mean, we were talking about this and this is subject to change, everybody, but we're talking like 250 for a not for profit business or entity to 350 for a for profit entity for the whole year's worth of millions of eyeballs. It's one of those things where it's like the return on that exposure, for the right business is just, it's got to be infinite. Like, to put it in your terms, the easiest check to write the second year.
That's what we hope. We hope that the value to area businesses is so much that they'll see that return on investment come tenfold. Really for an accommodation, it's 1, maybe 2 night stay is the cost of membership. For an attraction, it might be 4 to 6 admission tickets. But we are constantly striving to get those audiences to choose our area businesses every day of the year. We are physically and literally in front of domestic and international travelers. We're in front of group tour operators, the people who plan where those buses are going, the meeting planners and event planners. We are constantly engaging with them, constantly finding new, innovative, super fun ways for them and their clients to enjoy our area.
Yeah, how many members, like roughly, do you have that are like businesses or not for profits right now?
Several hundred,
Yeah.
and they are all in tourism. So how we differentiate with the Chamber of Commerce, an example, a Chamber of Commerce represents every business in its community. It could be the tradespeople, the gas stations, and more in its area, in
Yeah.
addition to tourism-related businesses. We are strictly tourism. We are helping to drive that visitor spend, which in 2023 in Essex County alone topped $1.2 billion in Essex County from visitors. And that's people traveling more than 50 miles away or spending the night. That's their spending in our area, in our local businesses, helping to keep our local people employed, our business owners vibrant year round. Additionally, it is generating tax revenue. So imagine this is other people's money infusing our economies with their spending and the tax revenue, some that goes to the state and some that comes back to local municipalities so that they have the revenue, both the state and the local municipalities, to put towards critical services. Could be teachers, could be roads, could be
Yeah.
education, could be police and fire. Whatever their needs are, revenue from tourism helps to solve those problems. And that's why tourism is everybody's business in Essex County.
Yeah, and tourism, you correct me, tourism is like one of the biggest economies of Massachusetts and Essex County. Like what is it in Essex County? Maybe like the second, third biggest
Exactly. For the
economy.
state of Massachusetts, it's the third largest industry. In the amount of money that is spent, again, by visitors, and therefore the amount of tax revenue generated, and one of the largest employers. In Essex County alone, more than 10,000 people are employed in tourism related jobs.
Yeah. So tourism is literally one of the most important industries to our area. So people keep coming and spending your money because it's putting food on the table around here, and that's
Exactly.
important.
Exactly.
That's so for you guys, are there any events or call outs of the summer that are important for you, or like how should people best engage you? What can we get the community to do to help support north of Boston?
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you asked. So, one of the important ways that we reach people beyond Essex County is through a very vibrant calendar of events. And anyone, member or non member, can post an event on our calendar event. Now, it needs to be tourism related. So it should be something that you think will get people excited. Um, and it can be happening anywhere in Essex County, any time of year. When you post that, not only is our calendar one of our top 3 pages in our website for those millions of people who find our website, but we also draw on that to populate our 3 social media posts a day. And if you're interested, it's Visit North of Boston on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And so we're posting constantly because we know we need to reach people through social media. We need to be front and center all day, every day. And we
Yep.
draw from events on our calendar. In addition, we have a subscriber list that exceeds more than 70,000 subscribers, direct subscribers, and we create newsletters for them and we pull from the calendar. So post on the calendar, super easy, northofboston.org. Click on the calendar and you'll see the submit button. Super easy, takes 5 minutes.
And you don't even have to be a member to do
No,
that. Just
because
something cool going on.
while you would have to be a member to have your hotel listed, for example, or your restaurant or attraction, you don't have to be a member to post on the calendar because the calendar is so important to visitors.
Right.
It helps to get them here. And our visitors are people who are interested in such a wide variety of topics. So the other day, I saw a topic that I thought was so much fun that I actually put it on our calendar. The Museum of Printing is doing broadsheets, basically posters that relate to events that were happening in 1776. So it's in relation to the Massachusetts celebrating 250th anniversary of the Revolution, and the Museum of Printing in Haverhill, if you don't know about it, is a gem for our area. It's one of those industrial museums that is such a joy for a bibliophile nerd like me. It took me a couple of years in this job before I got myself invited there, and then I almost didn't leave. But they're having this event, and yes, it suits a rather niche traveler,
Yeah.
but it hits a lot of points and it's super fun. So whether it's, something super fun like the carnival atmosphere and the greasy pole of St.
Yeah.
Peter's Fiesta, or It's a super cool niche kind of event. Travelers find us, and
Right.
it's a great place to start is with the calendar.
Well, what's unique about your organization, and it's probably a product of it having been around for as long as it has been, is the collective. It's, several hundred members putting in a couple bucks a piece to be listed, but then that creates this gigantic mass of stuff going on and things to do and enough to tell the whole world about that then everyone benefits, right? So if this hotel and that restaurant and this museum are doing this in scale, then Lane's Coven Theater benefits too, and they jump in and they're a member, and then the next person becomes a member, and you've got all these members, and it's like we have to go to the North Shore of Massachusetts. There's infinite things going on there, and it's beautiful, and so on, and you've just created this critical mass of value.
I love the way you've put that, Trey. I want you to come and work for me. Um, yeah, you couldn't have said it better. We're so fortunate. We sort of see the tourism ecosystem relying on several parts. So here in Cape Ann, you've got Discover Gloucester, which is an anchor promoting Gloucester throughout a key drive market, which is basically New England, New Jersey, New York. Um, and you've also got the Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce, which is terrific at promoting all of Cape Ann as a region, working hand in glove with Discover Gloucester. They work with me, fortunately, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel. They feed this information to me, and we take it beyond that drive market. We take it to that international market. We take it to those tour operators and meeting planners and event planners. We amplify the work that they're doing and are able to take it even bigger and beyond. And we're lucky that we have partners throughout the region that allow us to do this, that allow us to amplify their efforts, because nobody's rolling in the dough here.
Yeah.
But by working together and cooperatively, we can really leverage this area and all that it contains.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's if you're not a current member, it's worth being a member because you're gonna get the value in spades back. But before we wrap, you've called out a ton of great entities, probably members. I'll give you an opportunity to call out one because I love taking this platform and being able to like literally specifically hone in on one. Not that there's not hundreds, but one that you've taken part in or gone and visited, a restaurant or a museum or a hotel or something that comes to mind for you, and give them a shout out here, and maybe we'll drive them some traffic too.
Well, I'm going to take advantage of your invitation and give a shout out to 4
Okay.
local businesses really quickly. So, one of the many ways that we promote this area is we work with travel journalists, travel media, and travel trade, including our national tourism office called U.S. Travel and their marketing arm, Brand USA. And bottom line is, they called me one day and they said, we've got 16 international tour operators that we want to bring to Essex County, and you've got to find things for them to do all day and stay with them and guide them. And we thought, okay, well, the anchors of Essex County are Salem and Gloucester, so we're going to focus. And the Beauport Hotel agreed to put them all up for the night. Yes, they were here in November, but they put them up for the night for free. Isn't that, I
Wow.
mean, and fed them breakfast, and were amazing. So that enabled us to bring them here. And then we had to set up a day for them. And what were we going to do? So we went to Hammond Castle, and Linda and her team treated them like gold. And when you take Europeans to a castle built in 1929, the initial thought was they're not really impressed. But it was a shout out to Caleb because what an amazing guide who had all of them wrapped around his little finger as we toured the castle and he told the story. And it was so much fun. And let's face it, it's gaga beautiful even in November, right?
Yeah.
So then we turned things around a little bit with the energy and we stopped at Maritime Gloucester. And Michael DaCosta met us there and he toured folks through the maritime part. And then he insisted that we go downstairs and we put our hands in the tank. And the tour operator's like a little bit rolling their eyes, like, oh, isn't that for little kids? Except that all of them put their hands in the tank. And Michael came out and he had a moon snail, which he introduced as the killer of the tank. And he told the story about moon snails and how they murder crustaceans. And everyone was riveted. And then we took a ride over to Rocky Neck. And we stopped in at the Salted Cod, and it was a little late in the afternoon, and maybe people's energy was flagging a bit, but the Salted Cod stepped up, and all of a sudden everybody was bellied up to the bar and had a pint, and they talked to local artists, and Elizabeth Carey just sort of seduced them with the story of the the colony, and it was such a lovely experience. And then we checked into the hotel and we needed a place for dinner. And it was a Monday night in November. And luckily, Woodman said, yes, bring them over. Not only did they say, yes, bring them over, but they didn't tell me that they closed early on Monday nights in November. So we got there at what would normally have been their closing time, but they welcomed us with open arms and they had food being prepared and our tour operators were a little jet lagged and I could see them fading. And Steve Woodman came out of the back and he had 2 live lobsters that he started to pass around to people.
It's so
And
Woodman.
that had just been brought in that morning, right?
Yeah.
And the food came out, and they all learned how to crack a lobster because no one had seen a lobster that big before. And then they heard the story of Woodman's, and Rhonda showed them family photos. And by the time we left a couple of hours later, they were hugging Steve and Rhonda and felt like they were part of that family. And when they leave there and they go back to their travel agent companies and they educate their partners, they're going to have that memory of what it means to visit our area because our members showed them
Yeah.
what it means to visit. They'll carry that with them forever, but more importantly, they'll sell to their clients who will come.
Yep.
And imagine that they will enjoy such a good time. But that experience happens whether I'm there or not to help curate it. The point is, if people choose Essex County and they choose Cape Ann, they're going to walk away with all of their own memories. So I don't have to do much except get people to choose our area. And our local businesses do all the rest.
Yeah. That's perfect. We're stopping right there because that was perfection. Nancy, thank you for coming on here. Thank you for telling
Thanks
the
for
story,
having
and thanks for like taking this not this burden, but like this task on of telling the world about our awesome area because it really does. Tourism makes this whole area tick, and it is quite an awesome area. Thank you.
Thank you, Troy. What a treat.
Yeah, we'll have you back again soon.